Welcome back with the News Hour. A quick reminder of the main stories. The Israeli military says it's closing the Kerem Abu Salem crossing after a mortar attack there. This is one of two main crossings to bring humanitarian aid into Gaza, and it comes as the United Nations warns that parts of the Strip are facing full-blown famine. Major differences are still there in talks for a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. A delegation from Hamas is in Cairo meeting with mediators from Egypt, Qatar and the US. The group has said that it will not accept any deal that doesn't bring a permanent end to the war in Gaza. And our other headline, the Israeli government has ordered the closure of Al-Jazira operations in Israel after the cabinet voted unanimously in favor of the decision. The Knesset had already approved the law in April, allowing the government to ban broadcast channels it considers a threat to national security. So earlier we spoke to Akiva Elder, who's a political analyst and contributor to Haaretz. He's worried the Israeli authorities could contact him for talking to Al-Jazira.
I'm not sure how many Israelis are watching Al-Jazira. For me, I will be very upset when I will not be able to watch you on my television set, but I'm sure that they will not be able to remove you from the cyber network and on the net. I'm sure that Israelis who are addicted to Al-Jazira, as well as myself, will be able to watch us. I am not sure if they are going to take steps against your correspondence, or maybe this is also my last interview on Al-Jazira. Perhaps when I get back home, I'm on my way now, there will be a police officer waiting for me. I hope not. But the reason is, of course, very populistic move to feed the beast of the public opinion that is very disappointed from the conduct of the government in Gaza and in the international arena. And this is to please the partners from the radical right. And this is, I'm afraid, not the last step. We know that there are ministers, among them the Minister of Communication, that is looking at another networks, including Israeli channels that are not satisfying the government.
I want to bring you another story you've been following closely from Banjul, where the leaders from the Organization of Islamic Cooperation have been gathering. This is the Gambian capital, where they are doing the final day of their summit to discuss Israel's war on Gaza. Representatives have been considering a resolution to the conflict in the occupied territories. Tensions between Israel and Iran, the war in Sudan, and the rise in Islamophobia and racism were also on the agenda. Hamza Mohammed joins us live now from Banjul. What have you been hearing from representatives and officials there?
Mariam, the summit will come to an end shortly in the next few hours. For the past 2 days, delegates and leaders from more than 50 countries across 4 continents, representing close to 2 billion people, have been meeting in that building behind me. They've discussed, as you said, a number of issues, from climate change to the plight of the Rohingya refugees, to Islamophobia and racism. But there is one issue that every leader, every delegate, whenever they took the stage to make their speeches, that was very close to them, and that's Israel's war on Gaza. There were condemnations, there were demands for immediate ceasefire, and there were calls for more humanitarian aid to be allowed into the Gaza Strips. There was also calls for justice for Palestinian civilians killed in Israel's bombardments. Leaders that spoke also called for justice for Palestinian civilians that were killed, and they commended South Africa for taking Israel to the international call of justice. Earlier, we spoke to the Palestinian delegation, and they seemed disappointed in the international community when it comes to their reaction to Israel's war on Gaza. So one of the things that we have seen the delegation said is there is double standards, how they reacted when Russia invaded Ukraine and how they have responded to Israel's war on Gaza. The Palestinian issue is very close to the heart of the OIC. There's 57 countries across 4 continents. The Palestine is not just a member, it's one of the founding members. In fact, the OIC was established in 1960.